go and take Trump out tonight.
Take him out now. Okay.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Please get up in the face of some Congress people.
People will do what they do.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
Trumpers, be careful. Walk lightly. And for those of you who are soldiers, make them pay.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
Then punch him in the face.
That I thought he should have punched him in the face.
Feel like punching him.
I'd like to take him behind the gym if I were in high school.
If we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym.
That have gone out there against the mainstream media and said, you're going to call us racist? You're going to call us potential Timothy McVeighs? Fuck you. War.
But we'll be all, I'll get everything moved over here, and then we'll be all professional in just a moment. Almost there. I appreciate your patience. I did not sleep well last night. I'll be completely honest with you. I slept really rough. Again, not because I'm like some massive Trumper or I do really like Trump. I think he is the anti-establishment. He's the anti-establishment guy. He's the guy that you can't buy, you can't bribe, you can't fuck with, and that is very important right now. We need that kind of person in the White House, and things are I'm gonna have these all out of order. All right, let me just quickly go over the still screenshots that I have here. Stoic says, bring back aiding and abetting as a crime and exile as punishment. Agreed. Shadow says, what I got here is a failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach. So you get what we had here last week, which is the way he wants it. Well, he gets it, and you don't like it any more than you men. All right, so what led up to this? I've got some clips from the Daily Wire that I stole from Ben Shapiro and his team, because he has some crackpot good employees, and I just have myself and my dog that I woke up about an hour ago, and I didn't sleep well. I slept really miserable, and I got my hot coffee. So, I really do feel like this could have been another unifying moment for the left and the right. This could have been a moment where Dr. Dickey says, glad to see you, Joker. $10. Thank you, sir. This could have been another unifying moment for the left and the right, where we say, okay, things have gotten too hot. We need to simmer things down. Obviously, they're getting out of control. And instead, the left is ramping things up. It's not that I didn't sleep well because of what happened to Trump. It's because of what happened to this country. Terry Guy says, apparently the shooter was a registered Republican. Yeah, but when he registered, he's also given money to Act Blue, which is the Democrat side. And he wasn't old enough to vote last election. So there's some questions that seem kind of weird about that. You know what I mean? Back at 9/11, and I mentioned this last night, back 9/11 in 2001, whenever it was, that was a unifying moment for the country. And a lot of us hoped that when, the bug and COVID and all that stuff came out, that would be another unifying moment. But instead, everybody was blaming everybody and everybody was fighting about things. And this is another moment where you say, well, maybe the news media will say, let's calm down the rhetoric. Let's relax. Let's cool things off a little bit. But instead, now the media is saying, well, what about the retaliation that's going to happen? What about the right ramping things up? What about conservatives and their rhetoric? They're not stopping. They're using this to continue. So this is a moment where the left says, okay, we did, somebody on our quote unquote side, somebody did something really horrible. Let's use this to attack Republicans. Like, how are you doing that? This is how insane things are right now. And that's what worries me the most. Jarl says PA has closed primaries. Dems constantly register Republicans to fuck with the process. Yeah, of course they do. Of course they do. So I'm going to quickly go down through some of the posts from last night. I've moved all the sound bites into my new browser. Hopefully you guys can hear them. This will be a little bit out of order. I am, like I said, I just woke up late. I didn't sleep well. I worry for this country. I worry for the rhetoric. Plumber the Pilot says, I signed up to the military right after 9/11. Didn't see that. I don't see that happening now with all the unification. No, not so much. Not so much. So this is a tweet from Biden's team. It's not from Biden because Biden can't spell his own name. From about 2 weeks ago, and this is from their team. It says Donald Trump is a genuine threat to this nation. He's a threat to our freedom. He's a threat to our democracy. He's literally a threat to everything American stands for. You as the president can't put that out and not expect. And I think it is one of those, oh, won't somebody please rid me of this meddlesome priest? This very much is a call to action without actually asking people to go call for action. And this is the rhetoric. And people found this post again last night, and you can see they were commenting on it. This is a U.S. president. Does this sound like a solicitation for murder? Ancient Faith says a decent man, which everybody incredibly says you are, would delete this and apologize. Someone else says Trump is a threat to you winning a second term, not a threat to our country. Your party is giving up sovereignty. We don't like that. So you can see that this has been dug back up, and people are saying, like, why is this up? Why is this, why is this still going? And I even took a screenshot because I thought maybe the Biden administration and whoever posted this on the Biden administration would pull it down as part of the let's cool things down. But nope, it is still up. I think I have most of these videos moved into the new browser. I'll check here in a moment. This is from the Lincoln Project. A short while ago, again, 9 years of hate. Lincoln Project's Rick Wilson said donor class must put a bullet in Donald Trump. This is the rhetoric. This is when you use these words and there's somebody out there that listens and really believes in it, then yes, somebody will probably take somebody up on this stuff. The shooter was in a BlackRock commercial. Yeah. He was in a BlackRock commercial. I don't know what other ties they have to anything, but from Forbes, July 14th, 2014. Guys, July 14th, this came out yesterday. Will surviving gunfire be Donald Trump's next appeal to black voters? It's not, oh my gosh, there was a president that was also almost assassinated. It's not, hey, we need to heal the country. It's, do you think this will get President Trump more black voters? That's how messed up in the head the leftists are right now. Let's do the usual role of a reversal. If you ever want a sanity test, flip things around a little bit. Biden gets Trump, Biden gets shot or shot at, nicked in his ear, whatever, and Republicans come out and say, do you think this means we're going to lose the election? Wouldn't the left be screaming like, how dare you? Don't you care about what happened? It's an insanity. This is from the Huffington Post. Supreme Court gives Joe Biden the legal okay to assassinate Donald Trump, which is not true. That's not true. We know that's not true. But again, this is the rhetoric that they're using. They're just twisting everything up to 12. This is from, and again, these are out of order. I screwed up and I have everything in two browsers here. But Benny Johnson makes an observation we made last night during the live stream. He says, absolute humiliation for this gaggle of female Secret Service agents. Look at the disorder They can't holster their weapons, gears falling on the ground, erratic, fearful movements, no show of force, no composure. DEI Secret Service makes presidents less safe. I'm going to just pause this. There's really nothing to hear on it. You'll see a female agent here, female agent here. None of them are tall enough. I mean, look at the male Secret Service agents around them. This woman right here is barely at chest height. Her head would maybe protect President Trump's chest. These little, you're supposed to use your body as a shield, and when you're so tiny and short compared to all the guys around you, you're not protecting jack. But I'm gonna play this through here. You'll see the women are looking around. They're frazzled. They don't know what to do. They're looking lost. They're scanning the crowd. This woman can't even put her gun back in her holster. She can't even find the damn thing. She's so frazzled. And then she's just like, oh, screw it. I'll just hold it against my chest. You notice the men get him in the vehicle. The men get him shipped off. And the women are just like, what's going, I don't, what, oh gosh, they're not clearing the crowd. They're not pushing anybody back. They're just literally looking around like, well, I don't know what to do. I mean, it's very telling. And this is zoomed way in. That's why it's so grainy. I think here's, again, sorry they're out of order. This is from a DC Drano. How did the kid that was the shooter walk around these open fairgrounds with a long rifle undetected? How did he bring a ladder, a giant ladder that's up behind these trees right here? There's a ladder on the building he used to get up. How did he get on the closest roof to Trump? How was he allowed to take 5 well-aimed shots? And he's screaming, inside job. I don't know if it was inside job, but there's got to be a lot of answers that need to be answered here because this is bad. Mattwork says $5. Thank you, sir. A Joker, look at the far left skinhead agent doing it right. The men were on top of the game. Let's be honest about it. The women were all over the place. And the rest of these, I think, are videos. Yep, the rest are videos. All right, so I think I've copied most of those over. Let me make sure I have those. Yes, I have that one. 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 Okay, I don't need that anymore. Let's see if I have this video. Yep, I got that one. Let me close these down as I go. All right. Oh, do I have that one? That's another one I want to play. Okay, I just played that one. And I have the leftists' reactions. And I want to put this over here as well. Sorry, guys. I'll get this all in order. You know what this means? I was going to give a nice, smooth presentation. Now I'm going to have to edit the shit out of this before I upload it to Rumble because I'm an idiot. I just gave myself more work. Because I'm retarded. All right, there we go. All right, look at me. I'm all professional now. So I lost sleep because I worry for the country. I worry that the left is now using this as another attack on the right. The right is now, of course, calling the left out on all its bullshit. There's no unity in this. It's everybody's using it for political gain. Everybody's using it to other the other side. That's what I lose sleep about. P2P, Plumber to Pilot, says that's just to be expected into the training over 20 years ago. Now look at the new requirements. Oh, yeah, I do have the DEI portion of that stuff, too. This is a video, and I'm trying to give you, I was going to do this in chronological order, like here's the lead up of everything, and as you've seen, there's lots of screenshots, there's news stories in the intro that you guys saw, there's the Democrats basically calling out for violence at every chance they get. They're going to be comparing him to Hitler at some point. I'll play that stuff as well. This is from an Australian, I think this is the Aussies. Let's see what the tweet says. New Zealand. Okay, this is New Zealand. New Zealand TV shot a Trump doll with a toy pellet gun on air, laughing, "This is fun," passing the gun around. We got to get rid of these guys. They're coming into our country. The cast mocks Trump voice. before remarking, the biggest thing right is the cleanup afterwards. The hosts encourage viewers to get themselves a little Donald Trump and go hard for target practice at home. After 2 minutes of the segment aired last year, they finished with a covered warning: just don't shoot other people. I'm just going to play this. It's about a minute long, but I want you to see the lead up, because we're conservatives saying go out and punch Democrats in the face. We're conservatives saying little mock dolls shooting at Biden. We're conservatives say take him out. We're conservatives say get him with a bullet. The left would have gone crazy. But because the right is sane and they say, I got a job and I got a family and I got other things to worry about, we're not going to go at the left as hard. And this is the end result. Let me just play some of this here so you guys can hear it.
This is great. Okay, Donald Trump's here. So let's say Donald Trump.
It doesn't hurt.
Put him down there.
Well,
does it have like a laser?
I'm not sure it's actually that far.
I feel like there needs to be a laser on this thing. Or do you,
Well,
okay.
this is.
Oh! Hey! That was huge. I can't believe it. We got to get rid of these guys. They're coming into our country.
Hang on.
Sorry.
And what's so strange about this, that this is New Zealand. What the fuck does American politics and Trump have anything to do with them? What does that have to do with anything? That's what I don't understand. So they're ratcheting up the rhetoric, and that's kind of how we get where we are now. So I'm going to play, and I will totally not even pretend I stole a lot of this from Ben Shapiro's live stream that he did earlier today, because again, he's got like a crack team of people working for him that pulls all these clips together, and so you're going to hear a little bit of Ben and you'll see some of Ben. But Ben's a pretty good professional. I know a lot of you don't like Daily Wire or Ben Shapiro, but they did pull together a lot of the clips that I've been looking for, and I said, oh, screw it, I'm just going to steal his crap. Won't even lie. At least I'll give him credit for it. All right, so let's jump in with first. We'll start with what happened, the actual shooting.
Take a look at what happened.
You can hear the pops there. He goes down. He reaches for his ear. He realizes what's happening. Secret Service jumps on top of him. You can hear people screaming, obviously. And you can hear one final shot there. The crowd obviously crouching, trying to see what's happening.
I like Ben's voiceover. As you can see, people are crouching. They're laying on top of President Trump, trying to protect him. He's very safe now. He's safe. Anyway, guys, let me tell you about Jeremy's razors.
President Trump is on the ground as the Secret Service are on top of him. You can hear President Trump say, let me get my shoes.
That's the best part. I didn't know that happened. Trump's on the ground being like, let me get my shoes. Hold on. I don't want to be barefoot. Let me get my shoes. Are they scuffed? Is there a scuff on my shoes? Wait, let me wipe the blood off my shoes. I want to look presidential. Hold on just a minute. Let me get my shoes. Let me lace them. I want to double knot them before I stand up and wave to everybody. Trump is such a badass. The fact that Trump is like, hold on, let me get my shoes. So fucking good. Actually, do you notice Trump sounds a little bit like Ben Shapiro? Hold on. This guy knows something right here. He's got the Ranger hat. This guy right here with a Trump 2024 in the front, he's got the Ranger hat. He's on his hands and knees scanning the crowd. I bet that guy's former military. Just watch him. He's just like, what's going on? I gotta assess the situation.
The crowd is obviously agitated. They're holding President Trump down to make sure that he's safe. Now they're going to start moving him.
Where's the females, by the way? Where are the female agents? Are they on the ground with him?
Come on. Let me get my shoes.
President Trump gets up, as he does.
Let me get my shoes, sir. Hold on, your head is bloody. So we got to move to the car.
You hear him say, "Let me get my shoes."
Watch out.
The crowd starts cheering because they see that President Trump's alive. He has blood all over his face. He raises his fist and he says, "Fight, fight, fight." The crowd starts cheering. And then they start chanting USA. He holds up his fist again to show everyone that he's okay.
Trump ear already looks like it's drying a little bit. So, he's got good clotting agents. He's still a healthy man.
Amazing response by him, honestly. Most people would just be rushed off by Secret Service as fast as humanly possible. President Trump taking those extra few moments to assure the crowd that not only is he fine, but that he's not going to be cowed by this, is in fact an amazing personal response. And that can't be taught. I mean, that's an innate fight or flight response. And President Trump is an innate fighter. He is not an innate flight response guy.
And I do agree with Ben. Again, I left Ben in here because I did borrow their clips and things like that. So I do want to give Ben Shapiro and his team the credit for doing a great job with this. Well, no, you have to remember that he ducked down to the ground, and then you got agents bumping into you and dogpiling on top of you. So, he's probably got loafers on, so it popped his foot out of his shoe. That's all it is. I won't say it was a complete failure by the Secret Service, but those women running around, I think even Ben mentions it at some point. But I'll keep playing this and we'll go. This is Trump after he got off the airplane. As you can see, he's fine. There weren't any other wounds on him. He arrived fine. Everything's good to go. Last night, I told you guys he wasn't going to make the UFC fight, though. So, but he's fine. Everything's good. So he's all right.
I yelled.
This is a witness. His name's Rico Elmore, and I clipped a bunch of this stuff together. So there were some witnesses that saw what happened. I do have some other things in tabs that I'll open and we'll go over, just so we can get firsthand account of what happens instead of what the news tells us. Because let's just be honest, the news completely lies about so much of this shit.
I want to get down. Everybody was getting down. Everybody was yelling, "Get down!" I told people to get down, and then as I'm just pointing people and telling people get down. It's safe measures. And people were listening, and then I seen they had yelled for the medic, and there was an individual who was hit in the head. I jumped over the barrier that was there. I ran up into the bleachers, and there was a towel that the people had, and I took the towel and I pushed it against the deceased head, and just to try to, it's all I could think about doing was trying to, help him.
I heard the shot.
So one of the things that's kind of clutch here to tell you how dangerous this was for Trump is that I think this is the guy here, that he's a doctor, and he explains what happened to the guy that did get hit in the head, which tells you what would have happened to Trump had he obviously got hit.
I thought it was firecrackers to begin with. Somebody over there was screaming, "He's been shot, he's been shot." So I made my way over. I said, "I'm an emergency department physician. Let me help you." The guy had spun around and was jammed between the benches. He had a headshot here. There was lots of blood, and he had brain matter there.
He said he had brain matter. So, the distance between Trump and the gentleman that was shot was maybe 10 yards, 20 yards, not very far. And the doctor just said the guy that was hit in the head, he saw brain matter, like there was brain matter. So if that had, if Trump hadn't slightly moved just a little bit and he got hit around here, boom, that's gone. And that would have been the end of Trump. At least as a functioning human being, if it didn't end his life, that would have been the end. And why more people in the mainstream news and on the left and everybody they don't seem to take this seriously, like, oh, they just nicked his ear. It was 2 inches. You know, it was, I mean, from your ear, of course, mine are covered because of my head cap here, but from the ear to the eye is like 2 inches. That is not far. I don't know if it was the wind. I don't know if it was divine intervention, but, you know, Trump could have easily caught one in the eye. And they're acting like it's not a big deal, like the media is. That's what surprises me. And you'll hear later on where the leftist media is like, oh, but what if this makes somebody mad and they retaliate? Hey, how about we worry about what just literally happened, instead of using this as a moment to attack conservatives that haven't done anything wrong.
And so I got him. There's a helicopter coming in to get him. I got people there really helpful. I got
Was
him
there only
up
one
on the
person
bench.
shot that you saw?
Then I did CPR, did chest compressions as well as I breathed for him.
I heard several gunshots. The man beside me suffered a gunshot wound to the head, was instantly killed. Fell to the bottom of the bleachers. Another woman looked like she got hit in the forearm or hand. And at that point, state police and a SWAT team, started evacuating the bleachers, and then I helped carry the man out of the bleachers to a tent that was behind the bleachers.
You helped carry the man yourself. What was his condition when you were carrying him?
He's deceased.
Yeah, there's not a lot of surprise there that he's deceased. Bo, thank you for the $3 and the picture. Sinatra says, to be fair, New Zealand cares because we are a superpower. We have our fingers in everyone's pie. Oh, man. I'm going to just let some of these videos play so you guys can see the account of everything that happened. And this is one of the video accounts of somebody else that before the shooting happened, people were screaming, he's got a gun. And this is what's causing a lot of people to wonder if it is an inside job, number one, or number two, if the Secret Service completely dropped the ball. Because you should not have civilians, people that are there to watch the rally, you should not have them be the ones screaming, he's got a gun, and how is he up there, and who's that on the ladder, and who's that laying on the roof. They shouldn't be, that's security's job. I mean, if you're on the ball in your security, you shouldn't have, it should be one of those things where it's like shots fired. Oh, we just neutralized somebody. And everybody else says, oh my gosh, where? I didn't even know that was happening. That's the way it should, if you're on the ball as security. But here you've got people screaming, and there's the interview I read last night. I don't know if I still have it. Let me see here. I've got a lot of reaction videos here. Okay, so we just saw from that doctor. There was a redheaded guy last night that was saying, there was a redheaded guy last night when he said, we were yelling at the police and the Secret Service. There was a guy up on the roof. And he said they kind of ignored us. They didn't do anything. So there's going to be a lot of questions, let me tell you.
Stay over here.
So again, you see some people see the guy on the roof before shots are fired. Before shots are fired, they see him on the roof. This is the old video, and then they have a new one by TMZ right here. And people are filming, and they're saying there's a guy on that roof right there. There's a guy on that roof. Now, some have come out in defense of the snipers. And they're saying, imagine you're a sniper, and you see somebody on a roof over there, but you can't tell if they have a magnifying glass. You can't tell if they have a telescope. You think it might be a fan or maybe a Trump supporter. Do you take a rifle and shoot somebody that might just be an innocent, nosy bystander? You know, that without knowing what is exactly up. But the problem with that is that means you don't have a secure perimeter. You didn't have a secure perimeter. And yes, Secret Service, you can see one of the Secret Service looking through his scope, and I might have the image, I might have the video. He's looking for it through his scope, and then he hears shots fired, and he brings his head up and then back down and then pulls the trigger. Matt Work says, not buying it. Snipers have a spotter with a spotter scope that coaches the rifle onto the target. There was a spotter next to him. I don't know if I have that video clip. I grabbed so much last night, and I just was bookmarking things like crazy. I'll go through my bookmarks and see if I have it. But the problem is, 150 yards is not a difficult shot. I've hit 150 yards with an iron sight. And those of you guys that are shooters out there that have used shot 223, 5.56, AR-15s, AM, any of these rifles, if you have good vision. Now, when I was in the service, I had 20/20 vision. Unlike now, I have an astigmatism, so I have to have glasses. We put a target out, a paper target out, 100 yards out that was, the size of a baseball or a grapefruit. And we put that 100 yards out, and you shot at that. And at 100 yards with an iron sight, I hit that black target. All right, with a scope, you can hit 300 yards, TNIOU. Yeah, exactly, 200, 300 yards easy. The fact that this guy missed is a miracle, that Trump just happened to dip his head. Is 22 long range or long rifle good enough for 120 yards? Oh yeah, definitely. The main thing is, for that kind of range, for those of you that aren't shooters, for that kind of range, windage doesn't really take it too much into effect unless the wind's really blowing hard. You can see these trees here. They're moving, but they're not whipping around. So the left-right situation, that's going to be because Trump leaned his head to the left to talk into the microphone just at the last second right before the guy fired. That's what saved Trump, was he happened to dip towards the mic. As far as the height, obviously the guy was bang on because it nicked his ear right here, and if you move that over 4 inches, so he was just off left to right a little bit. So he did have, at that kind of range, when you have a bullet, I don't know how many feet per second, but how many feet per second that particular round traveled. But it when you're going 150 yards, that's not much. Like a pistol shoots, I don't know, 1,000, anywhere between maybe 900 and 1,200 feet per second. And the way you can time, I know I'm going off track here, but for those of you that aren't shooters, if you take a bullet here and you take a gun here and you fire the gun at the same time you let the bullet go, the bullets will hit the ground at the same time. The difference is the one you fired will be, 1,000 yards downrange by the time it hits the ground. So they drop it the same. So if you've got a bullet that's traveling, for example, at 1,200 feet per second, that would be 400 yards, and you've only got to hit somebody 150 yards away, the bullet will have only dropped a fraction of a second, which means if you let go of that bullet and it's here, here, after you let go of it for a third of a second or whatever it is, shooting, that's how far it'll fall. So he didn't really have to aim much above where he wanted to hit at that range, maybe a half inch, quarter inch. So either way, you can, like if you aim, you're gonna hit your target. So the only thing that saved Trump is the fact that he dipped his head to speak into the mic. That's it. So here's TMZ. Again, people screaming, hey, there's a guy on the roof. Hey, how are they able to see this? And the Secret Service and the police and the perimeter and everybody else missed it. That's the problem everybody has right now.
You can see him lying on top of the roof.
Now, this video is coming from near the building top. And so the shots that you hear fired now, unlike the video in Trump, the shots that we're hearing now sound like they're a long, long way away, which is probably the counter snipers shooting him.
You can see him lying on top of the roof.
Well, that's what somebody else brought up, John, is that somebody's yelling his last name, Crooks. So it sounds like somebody is yelling his name. So that might be the people that went there with him. I mean, it's probably a small town, so somebody may know him. Somebody may have seen him walking over there. There's going to be a lot of questions, and we don't have answers to that yet. But there's multiple people that have said it sounds like a lady screaming his last name.
He's killed almost immediately by the Secret Service. How did he get on top of the building? How did he get on top of the building?
There's no.
So, as I said in other photos, and they do have other photo right here. So if let me open this image in a new tab here. You can see right there is a ladder behind this tree right there, which makes you wonder, like, why did no one clear the perimeter? 150 yards is an easy shot. He was laying up on the roof here, and there were people that were at the event filming him through a chain link fence, which means that there were people for the event down here. So something very fishy is going on. That's, a lot of people, and somebody else says this, I guess Secret Service agents didn't notice a ladder leading to a roof 150 feet, but he probably meant yards away from Trump. A lot of questions that haven't been answered. All right, well, I think this is some of the rhetoric that people are saying led up to. Oh, no, this is the president's statement after the event. This is President Potato Head's statement after the fact. Okay, I'm caught up on live tips.
There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot.
Remember, everybody, we need to unite this country after this idiot's staff tweeted out that Trump is an existential threat to America, that Trump is literally Hitler, that Trump is going to be a dictator from day one, that Trump has threatened a bloodbath if he doesn't get elected. They're coming out of the same fucking mouth. And now he's like, oh, we need to calm things down. And fuck off, asshole.
Allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this.
Mr. President, do you think this was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough to. I have an opinion, but I don't have any facts.
So everybody, this happened. His speech came almost 2 hours after this event happened. By that time, we had video. We on Twitter, people paying attention. My live stream last night, we had video, we had pictures, we had interviews from people, we had just about everything. But here, our current president is like, I don't have enough information. Bullshit. After Biden says it's time to put Trump in the crosshairs, Matt Work says, I think his words were, we need to put him in the bullseye, I think was his exact words. So him saying we don't have enough information is BS. We were on Twitter. We did a live stream last night. We knew. So how does the president not know?
So I want to make sure we have all the facts before I make any more comments. Thank you.
Donald.
And then after that, somebody yelled at him like, when are you going to know something? And he's like, oh, if we get any more information. This is not a stream to Rumble. I'm streaming it for locals only. I'm recording it. I'm going to edit it, and then I'll put it up on Rumble. He said, if we get any more information, I'll come out and make another statement. And then he promptly went in and went to bed because it was past his bedtime. No more statements from President Potato Head. Now, I just want you to hear, you just heard what he said. There's no place for this. We need to calm things down. I'm going to play that again because right behind it is Potato Head with his rhetoric. I want you to hear both back to back.
Sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this.
We can't be like this. And flash cut to just last year.
Comments. Thank you. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. History tells us that blind loyalty to a single leader and a willingness to engage in political violence is fatal to democracy. For a long time, we've told ourselves that American democracy is guaranteed, but it's not. We have to defend it, protect it.
So if you're coming out and saying Donald Trump is an existential threat to the republic, and Donald Trump is literally Hitler, and Donald Trump is, the most evil of all evils, and he will destroy us, and calling for a bloodbath, and dictator on day one, and all these other bullshit things the Democrats come up with. And then you're like, oh, we need to calm down the rhetoric. We need to calm down. We can't, this is bad. Asshole, you're the one that promoted all this stuff. You're the one that pushed this stuff.
What, in your view, constitutes the primary threat to freedom and democracy at home?
Donald Trump. Joe Biden. And I approve this message.
Now, this is an ad. This is an ad that the Biden team just released, I want to say either a week or a few days, like a short time ago. Now, remember, everybody, we need to calm things down. Even President Biden said we need to calm things down. This is an ad that Biden played on fucking TV within the last week or two.
Of course I hate these people.
Donald Trump disrespecting black folk is nothing new. He was sued for refusing to rent his apartments to black families and called for the execution of 5 innocent black and brown teenagers.
And it's more than anger, it's hatred.
It's why Trump stood with violent white supremacists, warned of a bloodbath if he loses the next election, and if he's president again, vowed to be a dictator who wants revenge on his enemies. Now,
let me just put a pause in that. He said there's, and I just to clarify, because some people don't hear all of this stuff. He said there's going to be a bloodbath in the car market and the automobile industry because Biden's sending all our vehicles overseas. That's what he meant by bloodbath. When he said he wants revenge, what Trump said is, yes, I want revenge. The best revenge is the country doing well. That's what he said. But they took him out of context again. When he said, I'm going to be a dictator, he said, yes, I'm going to be a dictator from day one, just for one day. And I'm going to close the border, and I'm going to drill, baby, drill, because we need our independence. That's what he said. And they're taking him out of context, and they're amping up and threatening. So when the Democrats are now all of a sudden like, oh, it's conservatives that are firing everything up, and it's conservatives that are heating things up, and conservatives are dangerous. Bullshit. They're literally doing it themselves. Understand that.
Now, who do you think that is?
Of course I hate these people.
And this is a cover from the New Republic from a tweet just last week. The New Republic, American fascism, what it would look like. And, of course, they have superimposed a Hitlerian mustache on Donald Trump. This is what the rhetoric, this is what firing things up. And this is why I worry. It's not so much I worry about the election. I do, but it's not so much I worry about the election. It's that the left is ramping and ramping and ramping things up. And then when something happens against Trump, remember, it was Trump that was shot at. It was Trump that came within inches of dying. The left are like, well, this is because of the Republicans' rhetoric. This is because of what the Republicans are doing. That you want to talk about dangerous, not even taking accountability for you turning up the heat on things is extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous.
Let's deal with Hitler, okay?
I don't. Here's the same thing. Here's the media ramping things up.
Let's deal with Hitler, okay?
I don't think it's hyperbolic to say that. I mean, that is Mussolini, Hitler-like language.
Trump's affinity for Hitler was always covered under an umbrella of his stupidity.
Echoing Hitler's words.
Listen to this. Well, Hitler was duly elected.
That's right. Echoing the hateful rhetoric of Adolf Hitler.
I refuse to live under Donald Trump's reign again. I refuse to risk our democracy.
What would a second Trump term in the White House mean for the rule of law in our country?
It would be the end of democracy.
Anybody that votes Republican and doesn't understand you're voting for the end of democracy.
That's the kind of language Hitler used in Mein Kampf.
About vermin and Hitler and Mussolini.
That's a horrifying clip. That's a fascist clip.
Just going full on Hitler.
If Trump wins, it would be the end of democracy in the United States.
Then let me know who I got to vote for to keep Hitler out the White House. That's it. I'm done. Oh, and by the way, if it's Biden in a coma, I'm going to vote for Biden in a coma. I don't even really particularly like the guy. A lot of his policies, don't like him. He's not Donald Trump, right? Yeah. Hitler, White House. We keeping him out. Keeping Project 2025 out. That's all I care about. Up and down the ballot from the root of...
So when you talk like that about your opponent, can you understand why some of these crazy, and I do have some leftists reactions. I do have some lefty reactions. Can you understand why somebody might listen to the mainstream news and get amped up and say, I'm going to be a hero to the Republic? I'm going to save America. I'm going to save this country from evil orange man. I'm going to save everybody. I'll be a hero. Can you understand why people would think like that when you whip them up into a frenzy? Of course. And the left knows this. They know this. And as you know, as Ben Shapiro and others that are reporting on this today, yes, the act of actually shooting at Trump is only the shooter's fault. But is it any wonder that somebody would get into an almost like religious-like fervor because of what the news media is doing? And then the news comes out, like CNN and MSNBC and the others today, and they say it's the rhetoric and the violence of conservatives, everybody. It's conservatives that are whipping people into a fervor.
I do want to say there was one thing that when I watched the tape, I found odd because of all of the heated rhetoric. And that is that after he was hit, former President Trump got up and said, fight, fight, fight. I think what we're hearing from people is that's not the message that we want to be sending right now. We want to tamp it down.
We want to tamp it down because Trump said fight, fight, fight to a crowd of his supporters after he almost got killed. He says to them, guys, now he doesn't say this in so many words, but he's saying, guys, keep fighting. Let's keep going. Don't worry about it. I'm okay. Fight, fight, fight. This is dangerous, everybody. Donald Trump saying fight, fight, fight is dangerous. But us calling him Mussolini and Hitler and the end to the democracy and, all the other things that they said, that our country will be over, that's not dangerous. That's not dangerous, guys. But Trump saying fight after almost getting killed, that's dangerous. Do you see why this is so much bigger than a Trump versus Biden problem? This is bigger than a left versus right problem. This is a split in our country where we're watching the same movie or we're watching the same screen, but we're seeing two different movies. I'm not even going to say conservatives. I'll say conservatives, independents, people with their heads screwed on straight, people with more than 3 brain cells to rub together see it one way, and the fucking lunatic left sees it a completely different way. Because if they were to say, hey, you know what, we need to simmer things down. If they were to say that, they'd be admitting fault. They'd be admitting something is bad. They can't do that. They cannot do that. So what do? They must blame it on Trump. It has to be Trump's fault. Trump got shot because it's Trump's fault. It's not us. It can't be us, guys. It can't be. We are without fault. Matt Work says reason for this is dangerous because they're scared shitless non-leftards would start fighting back against their violence. I think so. But the fact that the left is coming out, and this is the mainstream media, guys. This isn't some retard on Rumble or YouTube or anything like that. This is the mainstream media saying, well, it's not us. It's conservatives.
Yeah, I would just know one thing on this, to that point.
To that point. So tamp down the rhetoric.
I left Ben in here because I think what Ben says is kind of what I'm saying. And it's what a lot of people are feeling. I'll let Ben speak in his own words.
He got up after being shot in the head, okay? Your ear is part of your head. He got shot in the ear. If he had turned his head at the last minute, he is dead. It's his brain matter on the stage. And then the media, I'm sure, would issue all of their crocodile tears about how upset they are for the death of Donald Trump. I'm sure they'd be deeply, deeply upset after having called him a deep and existential threat to the democracy. The real problem is that Donald Trump got up like a champ and then started pumping his fist and saying, fight, and then said USA to the crowd. That's the problem. It's that sort of rhetoric that can't be allowed in America. Every left-wing piece of radical rhetoric is not only allowable, but morally decent. Burning down cities in 2020 is totally decent. But if you get shot in the ear, and God forbid you get up and you say to your crowd, fight, as you should, you are the existential threat to democracy once again. So it's just doubling down. Here is CBS's news, Margaret Brennerin, and she's lecturing Steve Scalise. Now, Steve Scalise, who is the House Majority Whip, Steve Scalise was shot by a radical Bernie Sanders supporter. He almost died. Okay, so he too was a victim of a radical left-winger. He was shot, almost killed. And Margaret Brennan starts lecturing him about instructing Republican members to rein in the rhetoric. Yeah, clearly the rhetorical problem is on the right side of the aisle. Nailed it.
But I wonder what your message is. Have you specifically instructed members in the coming hours to rein in some of the rhetoric that I will point out some are using online that is somewhat incendiary in terms of really blaming this somehow on the administration?
How? Somehow people are blaming the administration. People are blaming the current president. How could they blame? How is this possible? You guys watched the intro clip I played that was 1.5 minutes long of Democrats saying we need to get rid of him and he's a fascist and we need to target him and he's an existential threat. And you heard Biden saying this stuff. And she's like, what happens if people are saying that this is they're escalating things against somehow thinking this is the current administration's fault? How disingenuous. How pathetic. This is why I lost sleep last night, because you don't take people like that and bring them back into the fold. You don't bring people like that and bring them back in to understand where we are. They're gone. They're evil. They are the epitome of evil. And they're the ones driving this narrative, driving this hate, driving this split, calling anybody that wants to vote for Trump a racist, that hates black people. You want to open the borders or you want to close the borders? You're racist. They're either one of two things, one of three things maybe: stupid or liars or evil. Take your pick. It's got to be one of them.
Have you asked them to refrain from that?
I've already been very vocal within moments of the shooting that that political violence is not something anybody should tolerate. But also, I went further and said that we need to dial the rhetoric down. And there's been a lot of rhetoric for the last few months.
I'll be honest with you. I kept Ben in here because Ben is as when it comes to Ben being violent and Ben being angry, he's like having a 3-month-old kitten be mad at you. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing violent and or scary about Ben. But when you see Ben this angry, I find it both interesting and amusing. That's why I left him in here. Also because I borrowed a lot of their clips from them. The Modern Stoic says, charges for treason, abandoning the Constitution, marks them out as having declared themselves above the compact made. Yeah, I agree. And yes, Ben is a bit of a war hawk when it comes to but only when it comes to Israel and Ukraine. That's all. Let's listen to Ben get very angry.
Unbelievable. Margaret Brennan then said, this could inspire violence. You mean the attempted, like, the big problem is going to be the backlash. It's going to be the backlash. Now they're all just doing the Norm Macdonald joke. The big problem with 9/11 is how many people might be mean to Muslims. I mean, like, this is where we are now. Donald Trump, somebody almost killed the former president of the United States. And Margaret Brennan's first move is to suggest that this might inspire Republican violence. It seems to me the problem is not Republican violence. It seems to me the problem is someone tried to shoot the president of the United States, the former president and leading presidential contender, and did kill somebody that seems to me like the big problem.
We're showing you this video on repeat because these events just happened. But we want to make clear that this is something we are reporting to you as a historic event as it unfolds. But we are very mindful that this kind of event can inspire violence. It can.
Instead of talking about the violence that just happened, they're worried about it inspiring violence. Do you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of somebody pouring a can of gasoline inside of a building, lighting a match, setting the building on fire, and then turning to somebody and saying, you know what? This could cause a fire. This might burn other buildings or maybe this building down. Boy, that would be awful. That would be like an arsonist saying, wow, I hope other arsonists don't come to and try to stop me after being an arsonist. It's fucking retards.
Inspire retaliation, and we want no part of that, Sam.
Yeah. You know, they want no part of the retaliation, but they have no problems in getting all of this fired up. Here's a good screen. I'm going to full screen this. Here's a good screenshot. They say roughly 148 yards. If you guys watched my live stream last night, I literally said like about 150 to 200 yards. Trump, here's the area where Trump was in the middle of the screen. The counter snipers were on the top of one of these 3 buildings. I think it was this white one over here. And the shooter was literally right here on this roof on the left-hand red square. How did you not secure that? Even over here on the far right, there's a building where he would have had a good shot. Down here, there's a building, would have had a good shot. How did you not clear this out?
Are you fearful, or does law enforcement look at the possibility that something like this could inspire others who may have harbored similar thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. The copycat thing here, look, sadly, we've seen it over the last couple of years, haven't we, with people kind of taking on FBI buildings, and it doesn't end well for them, like Cincinnati, Ohio, or a man who tried to swing a weapon at FBI agents in Provo, Utah, who were arresting him. This kind of thing begets more violence and revenge. So if you're going to have protest areas in Milwaukee with presumably people who are anti-Trump, can you imagine people who think in their head the answer is to seek revenge for today's event, maybe against those who are protesting against Trump? This presents quite the challenge for next week.
Oh, gosh, the worst thing about this whole event is there might be somebody that wants revenge. Or it could be that maybe the people that just tried to kill Trump.
And as you
they're wish casting violence on the other side that has not even happened yet. They're wish casting it.
And Ben is correct here. That's what they're doing. They're wish casting, and they're saying, "Oh, boy, if something happens the other direction." Well, why are they saying that? Because they want it to happen. And then the focus is not on the leftist or the guy that just tried to kill Trump, but it'll be on the right, the conservative or the nutbag on the that tried to hurt Biden. That's what they're doing. They're trying to take the attention off what really happened, and they want the focus to be on what could possibly happen for revenge. Jarl says, of note, Pennsylvania's governor is a Dem who has it out for Trump as well, probably hamstrung the police supplementing the protection details. I mean, it could be. We'll find out more in time. But again, Ben is correct here. That is what they're doing. They're wish casting. They don't want to actually, they're trying to move on what actually happened into the wish casting, because what actually happened makes the Democrats and their demagoguery and their attacks against Trump and calling him all these names, it makes them look really bad. So they're trying to, well, what aboutism? Troubadour says, F them all, or fuck them all. Yes.
It's unbelievable. NBC's Garrett Hawk doing the same thing, fretting that Republicans might seize on the images. We can't show the images anymore because they might seize on the images of President Trump raising his hand to show that he had survived an assassination attempt. That might be really bad. Republicans might be mean after that.
His supporters, though, are using images like the ones we're seeing on the screen, including now both of his sons, pinning those images to their X accounts, the website formerly known as Twitter, pointing out the idea that their father, the Republican nominee in waiting, if you will, is a fighter and kind of seizing on this moment to elevate him politically. And so we have the physical update here from the former president. Again, he claims that he was shot through the upper part of his right ear. By all accounts, will be just fine. The political reverberations, of course, entirely unpredictable at this moment. But
the political reverberations. The political reverberations, guys, that could be really bad. They're worried about elections. That's all they're worried about, is keeping power. Guys, this could be real. This looks really bad for the political reverberations. How about the fact that they just tried to kill the Republican front runner, the Republican nominee for the presidency, the likely winner as of current polls? Well, yeah, but whatever. This looks bad politically because now he might win, and it shows him as a strong man that's willing to fight and stand up. This somehow makes Trump look good. That's the real threat. Trump looks good after this, everybody. That's very worrisome. How dare he? Unbelievable.
Already going on behind the scenes. The Trump campaign, as we've reported earlier in the evening, putting their staffers on lockdown, telling people not to talk to the press, not to talk at all while they figure out the steps at a more senior level they want to take going forward. And Lester, I'll just add, as I mentioned earlier in our broadcast tonight, that concerns about the former president's safety on the campaign trail have always been on the front burner at the senior level of the Trump campaign.
Somebody tries to shoot Donald Trump. Again, I can't repeat this enough. Somebody tries to shoot the former president in the head and misses by literally this much. By this much. Okay, I'm holding my fingers very, very close together because that is literally.
I only have about a minute left of Ben. But Ben was so fired up and angry today, I wanted to include him. Because Ben's usually pretty rational, unless it comes to anything regarding Israel. Which, I mean, let's be honest, kind of understandable. But I haven't seen him this fired up and this angry in a long time. So he said, I'm going to include good old Ben in this stuff.
The difference between Donald Trump being alive and dead today. And their first move is, but the Republican rhetoric.
President Trump and his supporters have contributed to this violent rhetoric as well.
Well, absolutely.
Hey, guys, President Trump got shot at by somebody on the left that wanted to kill him because Republican rhetoric. Don't pay attention to any of the other video I showed of them shooting at Trump with pellet guns and saying that he's an existential threat. And he's literally Hitler. It's the Republican rhetoric is why Donald Trump got shot. Modern Stoic says he's convinced it's a fight for the soul of America. Can you imagine Harris reacting like that? Well, this is a fight for America if we're going to be honest about it. I mean, we're not in a good place.
Absolutely, George. We were just looking back this morning at some of the things that former President Trump has said. He warned last March of potential death and destruction if he were charged by the Manhattan District Attorney.
That's not exactly what he said.
Our country is being destroyed as they tell us to be peaceful.
That is true. Our country is being destroyed as they tell conservatives to be peaceful.
Trump in January warned of bedlam in the country if the criminal charges against him succeeded. And
So because they're trying to jail him, because they're prosecuting him, because they're going after him, and Trump says, this is dangerous, you know. This is going to piss a lot of people off if you keep coming after me with legal cases and things like that. Now they're saying, well, he said us going after him and trying to throw him in jail is dangerous. So it's not us throwing him in jail that's actually dangerous. It's him noticing that we're trying to throw him in jail and taking him out of the election. That's what's actually dangerous. These people are mental. They're fucking mental.
of course, in March, he said, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country.
That, again, is talking about the car industry. They can't help but lie. They can't help but take him out of context every single time. And then you point out that they're taking him out of context, and they turn right around and do it again and again. Do you know, even Snopes now has said the very fine people on both sides is a hoax. And do you know what happened right after that by a week? Biden's team came right out and made a tweet about the very fine people hoax, saying that Trump said that there's very fine people on both sides. So the left news media admits that it's a lie and that it was all bullshit. And then they come right out again and say, well, Trump did say it. Okay, but it's been proven it's a lie. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Yeah, but Trump did say it. It's almost like idiocracy. It's almost like idiocracy, where you say, okay, but that's been disproven. Like, you know you're lying. Yes, I am lying. Then why do you keep repeating it? Well, because he said it. Brawndo, it's what plants crave. Yeah, but it's killing the grass. I know, but thirst Brawndo quenches thirst, plants crave. Okay, but you know you're lying, right? Yeah, but Trump bad. Trump said it, though. It's like, fucking hell. And this is mainstream news, guys. ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, MSN, CNN. All of them are doing this. All of them.
That will be the least of it. He said he was partly joking and that was taken out of context. But those are indeed his words. And you have heard it from supporters as well. And supporters are certainly in some parts angry. And let's remember January 6th.
Oh, January 6th. Again. Fucking retards. Well, I got some updates for you. This is coming from a RAR V2K24. I don't know who this is, but he posted this, and the fact that he has a little bit of melatonin in his skin, I thought was kind of interesting. He has some thoughts. This got 175,000 likes. Let's see what this scholarly gentleman with the gun in his hands. Let's see what he thinks about this situation.
Now I'm just gonna tell you motherfucking niggas straight out the dump. Don't fuck with my motherfucking president. Do you understand me? Nigga, we ride with Donald Trump over here, nigga. Draco, we ain't playing with you motherfucking niggas. You understand me? Keep my motherfucking president name out your mouth. Fuck, nigga.
Apparently, he is a very large Donald Trump fan. But this has been shared 100 and some odd thousand times. The dude says my app is bugging out. You gotta admit it's funny. Let's check in with some leftists and see how they're reacting to the situation today.
John Wilkes Booth, if you can hear us,
Now, if you're just listening, this gentleman has orange and green hair, and I don't know if he's male or female, but his shirt says, or her shirt, whatever, it's a they, them. Their shirt says, I love Dick, and I don't think they mean Dick Cheney. Just a guess.
you are with us, please, John Wilkes Booth, if you're listening, please.
Let me get this straight. Dumbass! You have a fully reloaded shotgun, but you chose to use a one bullet.
We're not even sending our best to fucking assassinate. Cause what the hell was that? Lee Harvey Oswald would never, bitch. John Wilkes Booth would never.
Today was like this close to being the best day ever.
Also, the person that at Trump at his rally was exercising that right that all of those Republicans were fighting for. So, can you really blame him?
Yeah, the right that we want is the right to bear guns, not to use them against other innocent people. We'll check in with a couple of other lefty retards.
I just found out about this shit. It just happened. I haven't even had a second to process. You're telling me somebody finally had the balls to bring a pew-pew, and he missed! We were a second away! We were a centimeter away from half of the problem being gone, and you missed!
You know what I find interesting? She says we were half a centimeter, whatever, away from half the problem being gone. Half the problem, because that would be Trump. The other half is us. I want you to understand that. The other half is us, that we still exist. We're still here. When they, you know, because if conservatives were coming out saying this kind of stuff about Biden, the media would be having a meltdown about it. But the media aren't talking about these weirdos. The media is talking about conservative rhetoric after the Republican nominee almost got shot. This is why I say I'm more worried. I'm less worried about what happened to Trump. Of course, I'm worried about Trump, but the person that tried to shoot him has been vaporized. That's not where my worry lies. That's not why I lost sleep last night. These people are why I lost sleep. They're nuts. They're unhinged. They're crazy. They're mentally ill. They're members of our society. They vote. They may get into positions of power. This may be an HR manager at your company someday, and you wearing a Make America Great Again hat, and she's going to go nuts on you. Dredd says, Joker, how are men supposed to get along with insufferable bitches like these guys at the Daily Wire want us to marry these harpies? I don't think Ben's, excuse me, I don't think Ben's specifically talking about these nutsos. And no one says you have to get along with them. These are the people you need to avoid at all costs. Because you notice most of them are mentally ill. They don't have jobs. They're not productive members of society. These people are the outsiders. Don't forget that. Modern Stoic says, this is why I started calling them team genocide. Well, definitely. I'm going a little long. I'm an hour 20. I'm going to kind of cut it here, but I do want to leave it with, they had a couple more people that were witnesses. I think we have the idea. But Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle, she's not worried about the security or how well trained the Secret Service is. She's the former security director over at Pepsi Company. She's mostly worried about diversity. Jonathan Turley says, did a succinct write-up on the rhetoric that led up to this. Thanks. I'll open that in a new tab and read it for myself. I won't use it in the video here today, but yeah, the title is The Attempted Assassination of Trump is not nearly as surprising as it should be. Yeah, I'll read that over. I will leave it with this. This will be my close. My closing video. I'll close it out with this.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030, and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carre to train with agents.
But I'm very conscious, as I sit in this chair now, of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce, and particularly women.
That workforce will be pivotal for the 2024 campaign season, which for the first time includes a former president who already has lifetime protection. Agents were there when Donald Trump was arraigned in New York.
We were able to work out the details ahead of time of how that particular day was going to go, but we will always ensure the safety of all of our protectees that we have.
Whoops.
Service has a zero-fail mission, a mission officers are training to uphold, pretending this field is the most famous address in America.
Fail. Utter fail. She needs to resign, or she needs to be removed from her post. They failed. They failed big time. Well, Troubadour says the hero who lost his life protecting his wife and daughter. For some reason that it just gives me a little tiny image. I can't quite see it. I'll look at it after the fact. Trump has, I don't have it pulled up. Trump has started a fund for supporting as a matter of fact, he started it last night, like an hour after he got shot at. He already had a fund up to help the family whose father passed away. So if you want to give, to donate to that, I didn't grab it, but it is out there. Harold Finch says MAGA. Thank you, sir. And the Modern Stoics says straight out communist propaganda. We're going to see if this lady gets stepped down. We'll see if she gets stepped down. I wouldn't. Singer for Life says the Liberal are doing the same thing in Canada. It's a mess. I'll leave it at that, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. There's everything that's up to date. It's what led up to this. It's the response to this. I worry for this country. I don't see anything pulling us back together anymore. The left are using this as an opportunity to attack the right that just got attacked. They're using it to attack Trump that just got shot at. Like, how do you bring this country back together? How do you fix it? How do you mend the fences? I just don't see it. I see this growing farther and farther apart, where there's going to be more violence. Depending on who gets elected, the country is going to start flailing back and forth between, a state of normalcy and insanity. And when you take something that's already fragile and like putting it in a dog's mouth and just having it being shaken from left to right, at some point it falls apart. That's what I worry about. That's what I lose sleep for. That's what I worry about. I'll leave this awesome video up one more time as we tap out for today. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. Hang in there, man. It's going to get weird.